Alright, today I'm going to unbox and install this Mangoal dash cam. You can see here it is for a 2020 through 2024 Ford Explorer, and these cameras are made to be just like OEM style and look like a factory install once completed. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see what we have. This product was sent to me from Mangoal. So I will do an install here and give you a view of what it looks like, how it works. You can see here it comes with some instructions on how to install the app on your phone. We'll go through that later once we get it installed. Here's some instructions with a QR code on the connectors and whatnot. We'll get to that in a minute as well. Here is some owner's manual with some installation aids, a couple zip ties, and then here we have the products themselves. In this box we have the power cables, already have adapters and stuff on them. Everything should be plug and play. Sticky tape to mount to the windshield. It does come with a 128 gig SD card. Very nice. This is the camera here, I believe for the rear. It is a wired connection to the rear. You see rear cam there. This is the front camera. Goes up on the windshield. Here's the windshield like this. This is the camera forward facing. This is what you will see sitting in the driver's seat. Memory card goes in the side, and then you have some buttons here. You have a power button and a camera button. Some tape over the lens to keep it from getting scratched while we do the install. Power plug, GPS optional, and the wire to the rear cam. Step one is to disconnect the battery on this 2022 Ford Explorer. The passenger side, raise the hood, and it's under the cowl up here. We're just going to pull the negative battery terminal off, and the screw is a 10 millimeter. Just going to loosen that up right there, enough to pull this up off the terminal, like such. What I've done here is just kind of bend your mirror down out of the way so you can get to this plastic cover piece here. You're going to take the trim removal tool, and we're going to go around the outside edges of this plastic piece and basically just pry straight out on it. I believe there's 4 clips holding this on. There's one, this back corner. Work your way on down. It feels like you're going to break it a little bit, but it should snap out. Now, obviously, if you're doing it in cold weather and it's really cold outside, the interior of the car is cold, this plastic will be a lot more brittle and may snap these pieces off. So be careful with that. This is the trim piece that I just removed. You have 2 clips on the left-hand side, the driver's side. You have a clip just right of center and all the way over to the right. They go in these holes right here and these 2 over here. There are multiple ways you can draw power from your vehicle for this device. The easiest way is if your vehicle is equipped with the rain sensing wipers. It draws power from the rainfall sensor, which uses this power adapter here, Ford A. simply unplug the rainfall sensor inside the vehicle, plug it into here, and it essentially just splits it. One goes back into the rainfall sensor, and the other power goes to the camera. So it just splits off that power. The other three other additional ways are if you use the 4D cable, which is this one here. This is a 5-pin that pulls power from the auto-dimming rearview mirror, and it also does not support the parking monitor. You also have the Ford C cable, like this one here, is a 16-pin auto-dimming rearview mirror where it pulls the power from, and that also does not support the parking monitor. And the third additional option that they give you is OBD power adapter, which is this one here. Your camera power will plug into here, and then you run this cable along your A-pillar down under the dash, and then this plugs into your OBD2 port underneath the dash. If you use this option in order to get the parking monitoring, ensure that you select the correct option right here. You can see, so the two on the right are electric, the one all the way to the left is a fuel vehicle. Okay, in order to install this power cable that's going to pull from the rainfall sensor, you see up here this little bundle of wires that includes the yellow, comes right into the top right here. This is the rainfall sensor plug. This is the sensor itself, and it plugs in right here. So we're just going to pop it straight out like such. You can see it's a little 3-pin cable. And when you plug it in, the notch portion would be to the pointing towards the passenger side of the vehicle to the right. There we go. Press it up there, kind of get it lined up. Use the fork end of your tool, kind of like around it like that, and you can plug it right in. Now the end that comes from the vehicle out, the initial power, plug this into the little middle section there. You could hear it click. And then this longer end with the label on it will be the camera power itself. Will plug into this. As far as installing the rear camera, I'm going to start in the back and work my way towards the front. That way I only take up as much slack as I need and try to leave the majority of it back here. So what I'm going to do is when it mounts to the rear glass right here, I'm going to have it go right up inside this trim, come over inside, follow this boot into the roof of the vehicle, and then we'll run it all the way up to the front and connect to the front camera. So first thing is going to remove this trim piece here. There are two push pins holding it, along with 3 other guides. You'll see here you take your removal tool, and on the left hand side, kind of in the center, you can feel it a little bit. Just pry straight out on it, and it should pop out. And same thing on the right hand side, like such. And then we're going to there's a center one, pop out, and then we'll just drop it down and move forward. And here are the mounting clips. So you have the one clip on the right that goes in here. Then you have these 4 pin style clips that go in these holes. And then you have the left clip that goes into here. So move that out of the way. And then it gives us access right here inside of this rear door cavity. And we are going to open up these 2 boots. This one pops out the same way as the other side on the 2 ends like that. Just pry it out around. With the cable for the rear camera, I'll unplug just the rear camera section here. It has about a 12-inch lead on it, and then it unplugs. So what I'll do is leave this plug. There's a little C-clamp right here that I'm going to utilize. I'm going to snap this into there, and the rear camera can plug into here and have a little bit extra slack whenever I mount it. So what I'm going to do is start from the inside with this lead, and I'm going to work it up through here and then through this channel to get it back to here. Okay, to gain access into this rear column back here, I just pop this interior trim panel off that has a speaker in it. Use the trim tool and go around the edges and pop out on it. You can see that there are total of seven clips that hold this on. You have three small orange ones on the bottom here. Then you have two large bottom ones and two large top ones. You pop those out and just basically let it hang forward on the seatbelt there. And you can get a hold of this sealing foam that is in behind this rubber trim piece and just basically barely tug on it, open it up just back to where your grommet hole is at the top. And we're going to feed the cable right up through here. I have a flashlight stuck in there, so when I turn it on, you can see there's the hole. So we're just going to take the cable, stick it up through the hole, which is going to come out here, and we'll feed it through here. Same thing. We'll go into the hole here, and it'll feed out right here for the camera. Make sure you use the correct end of the cable. The end marked rear cam goes up front, plugs into your camera up there. The other end is for back here. So we will feed this up through the hole. Grab it here. Pull out some slack. Make sure it's not cutting on those metal edges inside. So pull gently and feed it as you need it. Now we are going to try to get this fed through this grommet hose and back out this side. Maybe a little challenging because this portion of it does not bend. Let's see what we can get. You can see this end of the rubber grommet is open, easy access. This end, coming out of the roof of the vehicle, had a little bit of fabric tape and stuff around it, as you can see there. So what I did was I basically just pinched back just a little bit, enough to give me room where I'm going to feed the cable up into that grommet, and then maybe try to get that tape back around it or put some more tape on it or something. Just going to have to try to work it through this grommet best you can. There's a little extra room in there. It's not super tight, but it's not just a straight channel either, so it's kind of hard to feed that piece. And I can feel it right here, the end of it, how it does not bend. So if I can try to work it through here. If you want to do it simpler, you can just leave the wire hanging exposed. But every time you open your rear door, you're going to have that exposed wire coming up. I got the end of it here. There we go. Got it fed through there. That's probably the hardest part. Let's see, how much slack do I need here? That actually looks like plenty. I'm going to pull it back just a hair. I'm going to leave just a little bit of slack on this end, so we can work with it. I think that's about right there. We'll go ahead and feed it through here. and come out up here on the metal, this other metal piece. This is just, all these panels just kind of clip into place. You just want to be careful not to break the clips on them. We'll just fish this right up here to this opening, like such. Pull it on in there. And you can see this is that little clip I was telling you about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that to hold the plug in place like that. There we go. That one's back in place. And here's the plug for the rear camera portion. I'm just going to go ahead and pop these two grommets back in. Make sure the grommet is seated all the way around the outside first. Because when you plug that in, you want it to be snug. You can see around the outside edge of this plastic clip part is a lip, and you want this rubber piece around this lip all the way around. There we go. All the way around, you can see that that lip is now behind the rubber. And then you take this and just snap it back in. Now it's completely hidden. Okay, you can see I have my flashlight stuck up in the edge of the ceiling right here. And there's a void or a channel that runs all the way up through there, which is what we're going to feed the cable on. Come around here to the rear door. I basically just peel up on your door rubber here a little bit in order to pop the roof fabric down. See the flashlight shining through there? That's the channel that we're going to use. Just kind of push it in this open void and hopefully be able to open it up here and grab a hold of it. Now have it right here. And I'm going to continue feeding it forward. Okay, and again, I'm just going to continue running it up underneath the ceiling foam or the headliner. And you can see I went to the front door, driver's door, and put my flashlight in there, shining back this way. And you can see there the light coming through. One thing to be mindful of as you're feeding it past this B-pillar, there are some foam blocks up in there. As you can see right here, there's one of them there. You just need to kind of go around to the right of them just a little bit. You can see from the front here, here's another foam block. Just going to go up in there and around those foam blocks back out to here. After you pull the slack through, just take your tool around the door rubber like that and run it up through here and pull it out just like that. Get the rubber back outside of it. The headliner is up inside. You can see the clip here that pulls straight out from the A-pillar. Just basically popped it out just to give me some room here on the edge of this headliner to feed the cable right around in front of this foam padding to bring it out the other side. This right here, this rolled up white thing is your airbag. So try not to mess with that as much as you can. Okay, we got it passed through here, and we're just gonna tuck it up inside the headliner here, coming across the front until we get to the middle section. Then we'll just snap this straight back in. Make sure the door rubber is outside of your A-pillar trim piece. Now we are ready to connect the rear camera cable that we just brought to the front. I've plugged in the power cable here, power plug, into the splicer that we put in from the rain sensor, which is the power to the unit. We're going to plug in the rear cam to the rear cam cable coming from the rear. Make sure that's secure. It only plugs in one way there. And there's a third cord here, which is GPS. And it says GPS optional. My unit did not come with the GPS. If you have it, then that's just another plug that you'll run down to the corner of your dash to where it can gain signal. So now that we have these plugged in, this is the front facing camera. And this is the mounting plate that sticks to the windshield. It snaps into here. So this mount is sticky back. You want to peel this off. Make sure your windshield is nice and clean first, so you don't have any issues. And then I'm going to snug it up under the rear view mirror arm as best as I can to get it up and out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and snap this mounting plate on it to where I can mount it to the windshield. You're going to be able to see some light inside of here around the windshield, and that'll help you determine if you have it perfectly centered around the rear view mirror mount. It'll be just like that. Go ahead and peel off the red film backing. Now I'm going to bring the rear view mirror back down, and then we'll tidy up these cables here. You just need to manage the cables right behind the mirror here that are going to be exposed. Remember, whenever they go up in behind here, you want to stay close to that cable that's coming down for the rear view mirror, because there's a cutout on this cover for it to fit snugly. You don't want them coming way over here and going in. So these three cables we can zip tie to that existing rear view mirror cable, and then we can kind of bunch up the rest of these, coil them up a little bit. Don't want to make creases or folds in them. We just want to kind of coil them up the best we can. And now we'll take the big cover here and try to get it snapped back up on here. Should be 4 individual snaps. And there's the front camera is complete. Now we'll go back and tie up the rest of the slack in the rear and close that up. Okay, I'm just going to take this slack back here and just tuck it up inside the ceiling panel back here. And then bring the rubber back around it. And then we'll go ahead and snap this panel back in. The four snaps that we had. 2, 4 snaps. Goes right in that groove. And then we will, again, bring the rubber in front of this panel. Like such. Now we just need to mount the rear camera to the back glass and ensure it's aimed properly. I went ahead and plugged in the rear camera to our cable coming from the front. So in order for me to get a live view of this before I secure it to the glass, I need to reconnect the battery up front. So I'm going to reconnect the car battery and then come back and get this rear camera secured. I use the app to correctly align the camera in between the horizontal defrost lines on the rear window. Also ensure I had the proper orientation. So all I need to do now is put this wire up in behind the cover and secure everything. Okay, now that the camera is mounted back here, just need to close up this back trim piece. There you have it. Nice clean install. Going to install the SD card into the side. Press it in and it'll click in place. Here is the SkyCamm app installed on my phone. We'll walk through the settings a little bit. First off, you can see that my phone is connected to the camera via Wi-Fi. You can see here. Taking a look at the app here, if you select My Camera in the upper left-hand corner, it shows you the camera that you have installed at the moment. You can select the ellipsis button, and then to give you a little bit more information about the camera itself, device name, firmware version, and whatnot. And you can also delete it from the app here. Down at the bottom, in the bottom center, you'll see the album button. Select that. These are the files that have already been downloaded to your phone from the camera itself. Selecting the More button, you can go through a couple settings. You have your language and date format settings, how you would like it to appear on the video screen. You have some installation tutorials. Select your vehicle model and it'll take you to some online information there. And there's also, you can check for an update here by clicking on version upgrade. Selecting access camera takes you into the live feed of the camera connection. You can also turn it to horizontal view, going back to portrait, going into camera settings in the bottom right corner. You can select whether or not you want to record sound, what the speaker volume is, the image resolution, 12 megapixel, 10 megapixel, so on, video resolution, 4K front, full HD rear, and so on. Loop record options, how long you want each individual file broken down to. Exposure compensation, whether or not you want the timestamp on or off. The collision sensing sensitivity, also the parking monitoring duration, if you have that enabled, and if you want to format the SD card by erasing all the data that's on it. Now going back, then we will go to the bottom left corner and select camera files. This is accessing the SD card that is in the camera currently. It's loading, and once it loads up all of the clips that have been recorded so far. And what it will do is it does loop recording, which means it'll overwrite old files as the memory card gets full. So whenever the memory card fills up, it starts overwriting old files by the oldest ones get overwritten first, so on and so forth. You can scroll down through these. You see the date header above each day of the files that are associated with, and these files are in 3-minute increments. That's the setting I have selected. You can choose 1 minute, 2 minute, or 3 minutes. Another thing you'll notice on the thumbnail for each file, you'll see an F or a B in the bottom right corner of the little video clip there. The F is for the front camera and the B is for the back camera. Each timestamp 3-minute clip has the same corresponding front and back file with it. Selecting these two files, the front camera file and the back camera file, and then I will select download. And what it's doing now, it is wirelessly downloading these video clips to my phone. And you can see here, it just takes a little bit of time while these download, a couple minutes maybe. You can see the file for the front camera is 399 megabytes. The file for the rear camera is 148 megabytes. I don't need these files, so what I'll do is just select the cancel at the bottom of the screen there, and we will cancel this action. And then going over to the next couple tabs, you'll see one called locked right here. These files will not be erased no matter whether the card runs out of space or not. It will not overwrite these files. And then you also have the parking tab, which are files that will be saved here if there was an event while it was in the parking mode. Now, going back out of this screen, if you press on the plus button in the upper right hand corner, this walks you through how to add another camera to the app. Gives you a couple pointers and also how to connect it to the Wi-Fi. That's a quick overview of the app, walking you through all the settings and features. Now I have some actual video clips here from the front and rear cameras that I'll show you what it looks like um, after my installation. In the front facing cam here, you can see the bottom left corner displays the date and time of the actual recording. You can also tell that it's a nice wide angle view. You can see pretty good peripheral vision on this as well. Nice and clear, good color representation. I do have the sound recording turned off. Now looking at the rear cam here from the same um, time frame, this is a full HD rear cam. Looks really good, nice and stable. It doesn't vibrate or anything. You can clearly read license plate numbers and stuff out of the back. So I'm really happy with this setup, and hopefully you will be too.